Hiya, Andy Evans here, part 29 of making a guitar in your garage. Okay, I'm just going to talk briefly about putting dots in the side here. The way you should do it really is before you fret it. That way you can get a pencil, you can put a nice line along here, centre line along the edge of the fretboard where you want the dots to go. Anyway, I always do things the difficult way, but okay, so what I do, I have a little it's a very small screwdriver, and we can see that it's got a very small head on it, and I just do it by eye. I look from the top between the two frets like that, put my glasses on, and I get find the centre exactly, turn this a couple of times, get a little indent going, and I get a really small drill, you know, like this. I put that into the indent and I turn it anti-clockwise. A few turns like that, a few turns, it doesn't take long. I don't use a drill. If you try and use an electric drill, it's just a disaster. They come out really messy. And this is quite important because it's the first thing you see when you're playing a guitar. These dots need to be nice and neat. So don't use an electric drill unless you're a master of electric drills. A good idea is one of those little hand drills, you know, those old-fashioned things. I haven't got one of those. As I say, I just put the drill in my hand, turn anti-clockwise, 3 or 4 turns, and then I go clockwise a little, and you get a nice neat hole. So I do that, get them all drilled out, and then I use this thing. I still don't know what it's called. I picked this up at the supermarket for, it was €10. And basically you put your plastic in here or whatever you're going to use. Maybe you can use a wood veneer, maybe. That's the thought. Actually, I might do that today. And you crush like that, and out the top, the plastic or whatever you're using as your dots will come out. You've got all different sizes of dots there. So this is very good. You can make your own dots with these. Make them from veneer or plastic. Then once I've got all my dots, I have a little file like this. Very small file. I just wet it, get the dot, put it in, no glue, put it in like that, quick file, done. Once it's all lacquered, those dots stay in place. They don't come out of place. And that's how I put my side dots in. Okay, so this is, it still needs a bit more lacquer on. It's not quite finished. All the holes are drilled, so it's all ready basically, except for more lacquer and the polish. So stay tuned for that. I'll put that to the side for now. It's got a bit of orange peel going on, but that's the beauty of polishing. If you're not a fantastic sprayer, when you polish your lacquer with wet and dry sandpaper at 1200 grit, 1500 grit, you get rid of that orange peel, you know, and you get that glass-like finish. So don't be too concerned if your spray job is not amazing. You can remedy quite a lot of that with your wet and dry sand and polish at the end. Okay, put that to the side. Okay. Other news is I got a planer finally, so I don't have to plane all the joints by hand, which I have been doing, which is very time consuming. It takes a long time to get it accurate by hand, you know. So I've got a tabletop planer. It's not a thicknesser, but I can manage. It's long like this, so I can do fingerboards, I can do necks with it, I can joint the bodies, the join on the body, 2 pieces of wood for the body. So it's a big step forward. I got it off a friend of mine. Thank you, Rasmus from Hendrix Marine. He's a carpenter on yachts, and he makes teak decks for 50-metre, 70-metre yachts. You know, he's a very good professional. So thanks, Rasmus, for that. I owe you a few pints for that one. Okay, other news is my neck carving jig. I've made the axis. I was talking about the axis was slightly off. I've corrected that. It's correct now. It's turning exactly on its axis. I'm going to change the top slightly. The top, I'll show you. Okay, so this is the top where the plunge router goes in here. I've just put these two things here as stops so you don't route too far when you're going towards the heel or the headstock. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change this. I'm going to put a nice what would the word be, radius here, a nice contour here and a contour here, so you get a nice transition when you go with the router. Instead of it just stopping here or here, you get a nice transition. You get that contour for the heel, and you get the contour for the headstock here. So maybe I just change the top and route it out from a straight piece of wood and change the top. But it's okay for now. Well, if you're making one of these at home, if you want to do it perfectly, you want a little contour here and a contour there. Maybe it's a good idea to put some bearings on the end where I've got this bar going through. At the moment I've just got a bar going through wood. Maybe in the future I'll put some bearings here, you know. So that's quite good. I'm happy with that. That's working. I'll put that to the side. Okay, I'm going to quickly talk about veneering. I need to move the camera just 1 minute so you can actually see what's happening. Okay, so if you have a solid top, it's fantastic. You know, if you have a solid flame maple top, they look great on Les Paul guitars or any type of guitar, and you carve it down, they look really good. The beauty of a solid top, if you're going to do a carve, you know, you've got that thickness to carve away. Whereas if you're going to put a veneer on something, you could carve the top of the guitar, carve it, and then put a nice veneer on top. And it's a bit difficult with veneers, bending stuff around, contours. But anyway, if you haven't got a carved top and you have some veneers, I'm going to briefly show you how to book match and stick a veneer down. Normally when you buy veneer, it comes in pieces like this, and they normally are book matched. You know, two identical pieces, because the wood is cut like this, and when you open it up, you get an exact match. This is quite nice, bit of walnut actually. It's got looks like a tree or something going on. It's a bit too big for a guitar, which is a shame, but I'm sure I can use it for something, maybe a table or something. Okay, so you need a nice clean bench, flat bench. You need a very good straight edge. You need a blade, Stanley knife, which I don't have to hand. You put this. You want to get a nice. You've obviously got to get a nice join where the two pieces meet. So let's pretend this is the knife for now. You need a good straight edge. So put your straight edge down there like this on your veneer, like that. And when you to get this nice straight line, you score very, very lightly with the blade. Don't try and do it in one or two passes. Just go very, very lightly. Get that angle correct, because remember the Stanley knives have a slight angle, so you want to tilt your blade slightly so you're getting a 90-degree angle on the veneer. So tilt it to the right if you're right-handed. Gently score. Do about 10 times, 10 passes, really gently. Eventually you'll cut through and you have a fantastic line. So you do that on both sides. Do that on both sides of it, and then you've got a nice join. Now what I would do, you need to put some pencil marks across here. So when you stick it to your guitar, it's not going to be off. You know, it's got to be identical, symmetrical pattern. So the way I do it, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. Different glues you can use. You can use wood glue, normal wood glue. You can use vacuum bags, use wood glue with vacuum bags and all that. You can use contact adhesive. You've got to be very careful with contact adhesive because you have one shot at putting it on. There is a way of getting contact adhesive. If you get it wrong when you put the contact adhesive on, heat it with a hairdryer and you can slowly pull the veneer off, but you've got to start again. So it's very important that you get it right the first time. The way I do it, I put my contact adhesive on the body, thin, very thin. I put a thin coat on the veneer, wait for 10 minutes, and then put another very, very thin. Don't put too much on because it'll move, you know, when you afterwards. Very, very thin, another coat. So 2 coats on the body and the veneer. Let it dry for 20 minutes. Then you want some polythene. Polythene is very important because you want to get this stuck on exactly in the right place, and you can put polythene underneath to stop anything going wrong, you know. And what I do, I have a little heat gun and I heat this up a little bit. If this is the bit that's going to be stuck down, the glue is here, I will heat this very, very gently and it'll curl this way like this, yeah. Also you're drying it a little bit, which is good because once it's on, it'll expand and your join will push together, you know, the join will, the centre line will push together and you get a really fantastic centre line join. Don't overheat it because when it expands it'll do that. So just a little enough just to curl it, and that'll help you put it down. So you have a centre line on your guitar, you put your plastic here between this and there, or I think wax paper is better actually, that wax paper. If you're very good you can do without the plastic, but you've got to be very careful. As I say, I curl it that way. I put this down on the centre line of the guitar like this. I have a little roller, tiny little roller. That's my little roller. This is just like a wallpaper roller or something. There's plastic there. And then I roll like that from the centre outwards. You've got to be really careful not to get any bubbles anywhere and get them out as you go, and you've got to sort of go from the centre outwards like that. So you've got to be really careful with the contact adhesives. But it works. If you do a thin coat, it works fine. And then the second piece, I would curl it exactly the same. I would push it against the centre line like this. Do exactly the same thing, push it away with the roller, starting in the middle. Make sure there's no bubbles in it. Once you're happy with it, it's all down, stuck down. What I do, I get some white masking tape, just the basic cheap stuff. I put about 5 pieces across here. You can use the blue stuff as well, you know, the blue tape. I put some across here and I pull it together, you know, the veneer. And then I push that tape down hard, leave it like that, and Bob's your uncle. And that's how I veneer a guitar. And if you've done it right, you've dried it out right, it won't soak up too much moisture, it'll soak a little, and then it'll push together like that. And then done, and you just trim it on the bandsaw afterwards. Okay, that's it for this podcast. Thanks for watching. Maybe the next guitar I'll do, I'll show you how I do it in action, and the veneering and stuff. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to press the subscribe button, which is, I think it's down there somewhere, about there. Give that a press, and I'll see you next time.